What's good in the interweb subscribers, and welcome back to Drama with Ted and Tina. I, Ted, will be your host narrator for part 2 of the professional cheater saga today. In the aftermath of betrayal, some people fall apart. Others get organized. What happens when silence is louder than screaming and revenge takes the form of paperwork and patience? Let's just say, this isn't your average breakup story. I had Sabrina Surft, the PI who also doubles as a licensed process server. Delivered the envelope while she was mid-gossip with her stylists at the salon. Body cam rolling, professionalism on point. When he showed her the manila envelope and said, "You've been served," she just blinked at him like someone had dropped a raw fish in her lap, gobsmacked. He clarified it was for a divorce case filed against her, and told her to get an attorney. She didn't even touch the envelope, so he let it drop. Loud slap. Right at her feet. "You still been served," he said, before walking off like a damn legend. I could hear her hyperventilating as he left. What? What is this? Oh, honey, you know exactly what this is. I was already out of the house. Hotel room, clean sheets, half-destroyed soul. When the PI called to give me the heads up, I called her dad. Couldn't talk to her mom. Not after how much I'd let her become my surrogate after losing my own. I told him simply, "Sabrina cheated. She's being served today. Please go to the house. She'll need support." He tried to play peacemaker, said maybe we could work it out. Then her mom grabbed the phone, heard everything, and started crying. She apologized, and for a moment, I wasn't bitter, just broken. I hung up mid-sentence before I completely unraveled. I packed up my work laptops and a ton of clothes, took the cameras out of the bathrooms and bedrooms like my lawyer told me, left the others. The house belongs to my dad, and Sabrina doesn't get privacy she hasn't earned. The subpoena for John's card was already filed. My lawyer moved fast. I moved faster. I emailed her family, her friends, and Bev's husband. I laid it all out, clean, clear, and brutal. Told them I had hard proof, emails, photos, financial records. I attached the hotel parking lot kiss, the Valentine's Day card, the audio recording where Sabrina confirms I never abused or cheated. I wasn't going to let her rewrite this story into some sob story where I was the villain. Bev's husband got a bonus message. I told him Bev wasn't just a bystander, she was a damn cheerleader for the affair, gave him enough to start asking the right questions. Whether he believes me or not is on him. But my conscience, crystal clear. I left Sabrina a parting gift, my wedding ring, a printed photo of her and Mark playing tonsil hockey, my lawyer's card, and a handwritten note that said, "I hope your affair was worth our marriage. If you're even slightly remorseful, give me the easiest divorce possible. I loved you. I would have forgiven almost anything except this." She called. I didn't answer. I pulled half the money from our joint accounts, froze our investments, canceled the shared cards. You know, the usual romantic comedy montage, if it were written by a divorce attorney with a grudge. Then came the texts. Panicked. "What do you ghosting? You're supposed to yell at me." "Yeah, why? Answer your phone. We need to talk." Then denial. I don't know what you think you know." Then bargaining. "We're supposed to work through this mistake." Then desperation. "Don't do this. I never stopped loving you." Followed by rage. "You're overreacting." And finally, victimhood. "Are you really ghosting your own wife?" "Yes, Emily. Consult a magic 8-ball next time." Then came the real fireworks. Her parents showed up at the house and she absolutely lost it. "You had no right to involve my family." "Oh, I'm sorry. Were they supposed to wait for your curated version of events?" I kept ignoring her calls. The texts kept coming. "I never loved him. We can fix this." "Tell me how to fix this." "Ma'am, you lit our marriage on fire and now want me to draw you a map on how to unburn it. And then the kicker, you never loved me if you can do this to me." "Right, because you cheating was an act of love, apparently. This is how it ends. Not with a bang, not with closure. With shattered glass in my chest and Walmart underwear because I forgot to pack enough. With her spiraling and me trying to figure out if I escaped a disaster or just moved into a different kind of hell. My lawyer says this will be over relatively quick." Compared to what? The Ice Age? I'm not okay. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm tired of second-guessing myself, wondering if I pulled the trigger too hard, too fast. But I look at the evidence. I look at her texts. I remember what it felt like reading those emails for the first time. I'm not crazy. This is real. And it sucks, and yeah, I just want my mom. Emily wrote me an email. Apparently she's a victim too. "A lot of you were wondering about Bev's husband. He texted me back, 'Shit,' and then, 'Thanks, man.' I don't know how exactly to interpret that, but I'm too tired to be invested in Bev's marriage. I told him his wife was a co-conspirator. What he does with that, that's on him. Good luck, buddy." Emily's mom texted me using Emily's phone. She wants me to unblock her. I ignored it. Hours later, she promised not to bring up Emily if I did, so I unblocked her. I texted that I was alive, had no plans to change that status, and I'd reconnect later, when I could handle it. I told her I need space, that if we talk it's about me and her, not Emily. She agreed. Meanwhile, Emily sent a classic "sorry you're hurt" text, very touching. Based on the breadcrumbs, I'm guessing she's crashing at her parents' house, and after a long silence she finally texted me, "Check your email." I dug it out of my spam folder. She didn't misspell it. I butchered the formatting myself. Paranoia's a hell of a drug, and I'd rather be safe than see my post show up in her For You page. She started off how you'd expect. "I can't believe this is real. How can you shut me out like I meant nothing?" Then she launches into a confession that somehow feels like a pitch meeting. She told her dad and brother-in-law. They laughed. Told her it didn't matter, that she never loved John. She said she felt stupid. Good. She asked for a chance to explain herself. Said she knows she messed up, that it wasn't about love or sex or passion, just pressure, obligations, favors. Said she kept trying to pull away, but every time she did, he reminded her of what he'd done for her business, the money, the connections, the lease, the meetings. So she gave in, once, then twice, then 10 times, and somehow it's all still just happening to her. She's not a cheater. She's a hostage, right? She said she hated herself for not ending it, said she was afraid to ruin everything she built, her business, her image, her illusion. Claimed she never loved him, claimed she ended it, claimed she wanted to tell me but couldn't bear to see me look at her differently. Said every time she thought about coming clean, she put her head down and waited for the guilt to disappear. But it didn't. She said she kept thinking of Charleston, the seafood shack, the terrible coffee, the way I pretended to be a British knight, guarding her plate from seagulls, and somehow that was supposed to be proof she still loved me. I don't know. I loved that weekend. I really did. But the Emily who laughed at my bad jokes while holding my hand under the table isn't the Emily who let another man into our marriage for nearly a year and now wants to call it a mistake. She said she'd sign anything, give me anything, just don't pretend she never mattered. She said she loves me, always has, but she's afraid she'll never get the chance to say it to my face again. Maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe she believes it. But there's no mention of John's card, no mention of how she was supposed to be handling me, no mention of how the affair wasn't fun anymore. Just her side, her rewrite, her version, where we're both victims and the real villain is accountability. And honestly, the worst part is that some of it does sound like her. That's what makes it dangerous. Because the old her, the one I married, is buried in those words. But so is the one who lied, who cheated, who weaponized my trust and dragged it through hotel parking lots. And now she wants me to believe she just slipped and fell into betrayal like it was a damn... So no, Emily, I'm not coming back. I'm not softening. I'm not fixing what you burned down and called an accident. Sign the papers, pack your things, enjoy your career, your freedom, your designer wardrobe. Go live your fabulous post-sugar daddy life somewhere that isn't here, away from me. Because you were everything to me. But now, you're just the reason I stopped believing in forever. So my friends took me out on the town. I let them know in advance I wasn't drinking. They let me know in advance that they absolutely were. Fair trade, the crew, Jim, my old high school buddy who knew both Emily and me, married, shocked by everything. Then there's Matt, a groom I met years ago when Emily did a last-minute bridal rescue. He and I hit it off while the women did their thing. We kept in touch. Couples dates here and there. Mostly he hung out with Jim and me. And Bob, our single friend, well, I guess I'm single now too. Bob was always the chaotic neutral energy at our D&D table, the dungeon master and the designated troublemaker. We leaned on him to remember what freedom looked like. The man once set up a board game mid-late and didn't see the problem. Legend! We had dinner at a fancy steakhouse. Protein that didn't come from a blender. What a concept. Hard to eat, but I got through it. Laughter helped. Eat your steak, you pussy, was the group motto. Afterward, I gave them the abbreviated version of the saga, left out the details that might boomerang back to Emily. They were supportive. They were angry. They couldn't believe what she did. They couldn't believe I was still standing. Matt mentioned that he heard she was struggling. I shut that down quick. I don't need updates on someone who set my life on fire. After dinner, we hit a dive bar, one of those places where the floors are made of industrial glue and regret. My shoes got stuck. That's how you know you're somewhere with character. They hit the beers and bourbon. I stuck to bitters and soda. The manly man's sober drink, according to my dad. The bartender called me Grandpa. I didn't even care. I like the taste. As the drinks stacked up, so did their outrage. They were ready to call Emily themselves. I reminded them that silence is the best revenge. Let her sit in the echo chamber. It landed. Jim was calling the bartender bro. Matt, the pescatarian, devoured steak nachos after a steak dinner. We all agreed he had committed dietary adultery. He suffered later. I saw it coming. Meanwhile, Bob nearly bought a dog from a homeless guy. I intervened. Jim's wife would have killed us all if that mutt made it into the minivan. I drove them home. No way they were touching their keys. Dropped Bob off head first over his toilet, delivered Matt to his very pregnant wife, and warned her that tonight it was his turn to vomit. She tried to bring up Emily. I shut that down too. No one gets to open that wound. Not tonight. Drove Jim's minivan to his place. He made a direct offering to the porcelain gods. His wife gave me a hug and said to focus on whatever new beginning I choose. I've heard that line a lot. It's becoming the divorcee version of thoughts and prayers. I called a ride back to the bar, made sure their cars were locked, then drove mine to the hotel. Sunday, we played D&D and code names at Bob's. No drinks, just dice, strategy, and laughter. That's what healing looks like, apparently. Monday, I'm back to work. By work, I mean Wi-Fi and coffee shop hopping. No in-person meetings, so no pressure. I'll lay low, find a rhythm. Eventually, I'll move into my dad's friend's Airbnb remodel and crash there while helping out. It'll be home for now. We're still waiting on the credit card records. To my knowledge, Emily hasn't lawyered up. Here's hoping for that sweet, sweet default judgment. My lawyer said John's wife reached out. That's all I know. Bev and her husband? Radio silence. Fine by me. They were never really my friends. I did him a favor. Whatever happens next is on him. As for Emily's overnights during the affair, she only ever stayed out when visiting her parents. I double-checked back then just because I liked chatting with her mom. The last time she was sick with the flu, Emil took care of her. I called every day. I really don't think she spent nights with John. Except maybe New Year's. Could her mom have covered for her? Maybe. But she's deeply religious and it would hurt like hell if she did. So for my own sanity, I believe she didn't. I've heard nothing from Emily. I'm no contact. Matt said his wife mentioned that Emily's struggling. I hope she gets the help she needs. I checked the cameras. She's moved out. Probably with her parents. That commute's a monster, so she's likely off work too. I don't have the credit card records yet, but my lawyer pulled off a legal trick worthy of a magic show. Some kind of gag order. Emily and John won't know they've been subpoenaed until we already have the goods. That'll go over well, I'm sure. Emily's going to melt down and start flinging whatever story she thinks makes her sound less like a high-end Craigslist train wreck. Can't wait. I met with John's wife. We'll call her Lisa. She looked wrecked, but not shocked. Turns out John cheated on her while she was pregnant with their third kid. Class act. She and I walked through the timeline. New Year's Eve? She had the kids in Orlando. John showed up, played family man, then dipped early. During the countdown, he FaceTimed her, said he was home. Plot twist, he wasn't. Ring camera footage showed him pulling up with Emily and dragging her inside. Emily didn't exactly look thrilled, but she wasn't fighting it either. And the kicker? Emily drove herself that night. No idea how they ended up in the same car. Charming. At least Emily didn't end up pregnant. Lisa confirmed John's been firing blanks since she dragged him to a vasectomy appointment after catching him cheating the first time. She literally chauffeured him there because she didn't trust him to follow through. Respect. We had a grim laugh over it. She said he's basically shooting rubber bullets now. Lisa hired my lawyer. Divorce twins, I guess. S'mores, matching pajamas, and late-night trauma dumps. It'll be adorable, she shared messages. John begging for meetups, praising Emily like he was her personal hype man, talking about buying outfits to see her in. The tone shifted over time. Emily went from flirty to ice-cold. Poor baby wasn't getting his fix anymore. Oh, and John has a lingerie kink. Lisa said she could open a boutique with just the stuff he's made her buy. Delightful. For the record, Lisa and I are not having a moment. We're not emotionally entangled. She's processing her betrayal. I'm processing mine. She asks me about Emily. I tell her I don't want to hear a single word about John. I hate him. Can't help it. My lawyer warned me that even being near Lisa could backfire. Makes it look like we're playing revenge hookup, and in an at-fault divorce, optics matter. So yeah, we keep it friendly, not stupid. Always follow your lawyer's advice. I moved out of the residence hotel and into the Airbnb remodel project. My official job description? Guy who paints walls, lays cheap flooring, and lets electricians and HVAC techs wander in and out like it's Grand Central Station. It's a distraction, and I need one. The house is eclectic. The kitchen looks like it belongs on a spaceship. There's a tablet in the fridge that could probably hack NORAD. Meanwhile, the The rest of the house feels like it was abandoned mid-renovation by raccoons with a Pinterest addiction. But the AC works, the roof is solid, and I've got Wi-Fi. What more could a freshly betrayed man want? I unblocked my mother-in-law. Surface-level text exchange. She wanted to meet up and swore Emily wouldn't be there. I told her that if I even smelled Emily, I'd vanish like a magician and never speak to her again. She agreed. We met at a park. Neutral territory, far from where I'm crashing. When she saw me, she looked heartbroken. Said I looked so thin. Then popped her trunk and basically fed me like a stray. Eggs, steaks, chicken, soup, cookies, spinach casserole, and enough produce to start my own damn farmer's market. Said if I didn't eat properly, she'd move in and mother me by force. Tempting offer. And told her straight Emily wants to reconcile with a version of me that existed before the betrayal. The husband who bent over backward, stayed loyal, planned date nights, trusted her completely. That guy's dead. The man standing here now, he's different. And not in the sweet, enlightened way. I'd resent her. I'd be paranoid. I'd probably lash out. I'd make her life miserable because I wouldn't believe a word she said the second she stepped outside, and eventually she'd fall out of love with me. Not because of what I became, but because of what she turned me into. She says she loves me. But saying I love you is free. Actions cost something. Her actions said, I want both lives, the stable husband and the side adventure. And now she's trying to rewrite that script. I told her mom point blank that I have evidence she hasn't seen. Proof that Emily knew exactly what she was doing. That this wasn't grooming, coercion, or whatever TikTok buzzword she's leaning on. It was a choice. MIL looked like she'd been slapped. She asked to see it. I told her she could, when my lawyer gives the green. She brought up therapy. Said she'd pay for it, individual and couples. She's been reading articles about reconciliation, said it was possible. I told her I'd read the same ones. The ones where the cheater does all the right things for a while, until a few years pass and they cheat again. This time they leave the person who forgave them. And now there are kids caught in the crossfire. That's the kind of reconciliation that's possible. I told her the happiest reconciliations I've seen are between people who never trust each other again. One partner's walking on eggshells, the other's pretending they don't notice. It's either that, or I become a PTSD landmine in husband form, teaking, miserable, unlovable. I asked her if she'd want to live like that. She admitted she wouldn't. I told her that Emily isn't telling her the whole story. I have proof. This wasn't grooming, this wasn't pressure. This was a woman making calculated decisions, over and over. A woman with opportunity, motive, and cover, and she took full advantage. I told her to get Emily into therapy. Maybe someday she'll fix whatever broken circuit made her think this was okay. She's only 28, still beautiful, no kids, runs a successful business. She'll be fine. There are guys out there who'd give her a fresh start and a dozen kids, just not me. She said she wished I'd think about it. I told her I have, obsessively. Every version of the future ends the same. I can't do it. The marriage is over. I told her she needs to either get a lawyer for Emily or get Emily to sign whatever terms my lawyer hands over. I was kind of hoping for a clean default judgment, but I'm sure that's too optimistic. Emily's family will throw a lawyer at her, and then Hurricane Emily will come tearing through the final stretch of this mess before it's all over. At least we didn't have kids. That's the one mercy I keep repeating like a mantra. When this divorce is done, I can vanish, clean cut, no custody battles, no court-mandated emotional relapses. But even with all that, I'll never be the same. This kind of betrayal leaves permanent scars. I'll carry it, always. And maybe it's good that I'm more cautious now, more guarded. But I keep thinking about my mom. She'd be heartbroken if she saw what this did to me. She always wanted me to trust love, to lean in. It's probably for the best that she didn't live long enough to see me become this version of her son. As the dust settles and the legal firestorm looms, one thing's clear. This story isn't over. He's still got evidence to pull, lies to unravel, and a future to reclaim, one painful step at a time. Don't miss what comes next. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're here for part 3 of Professional Cheating Wife. This saga? It's just heating up.